What's up, YouTube? So right now I am sitting here with some stuff that I need to drop off at Gina's house. Basically that recycle bin I'm returning to her, and I filled it with as much cardboard as I could. Everything else that was cardboard, my friend Cora helped me toss out today. And so I'm also going to return that bucket to Gina because she gave it to me when I was at her house doing the installation. And I'm sure you guys have seen that part 1 edit of installation. I am going to do a part 2 and continue the story of the build in sequence on Sundays. So Sundays are going to stay build videos, but now that I am on the road, you heard me correctly, I'm on the road. I am exiting the Bay Area after I dropped the stuff off at Gina's in the morning. This morning, Cora showed up, and I was like, at most, by Tuesday evening, maybe I'll be on the road. But after Cora helped me, like, pretty much get most of everything out of that storage unit, I was like, this is not a huge mountain to leap to wrap this stuff up. So I took some things of Mickey's that I either couldn't use or didn't fit in the box truck, and I took it to a pet place and donated that. Samantha gave me a good place to take those items. I took some other items to donation. I had a couple of extra bags that I needed to dump, and I found a dumpster where I could take those last 2 bags. The bulk of it went to a transfer station in Berkeley. I did price getting someone to haul it all away, but it was going to cost $250 to $300 to get somebody to haul that away, and it wasn't worth that. If I could find somebody who would take as much as they could for $100, I would have done that, but I was not going to pay almost $300 for somebody to haul away all the trash in the storage unit. And so it only cost me $30, and I tried to give Cora gas money, and she's like, no, just take me out to eat at some point, which is cool. But anyway, at the transfer station, you basically get weighed on the way in, and then you get weighed on the way out, and you get charged based on that difference in weight as far as how much refuse that you left at the transfer station. And that is pretty much the only way to get rid of a bunch of bulk trash in Berkeley yourself. So yeah, that's what happened. We left everything that was like scrap wood, stuff that was too tiny, or really not worth passing on unless there was literally a person standing there that you could hand it to. The day before that, I put some stuff on Craigslist like that Friday, and it's now Monday evening, Friday evening. I know late as could be, but I really couldn't get to anything until I moved everything that I was going to keep back in the truck. So it was really hard to like catalog stuff and have it sitting up there for a while. So I was like, I'm going to give it the weekend, and I was able to, like the E-Tracks that came off the side of the truck, I could have sold them. They are worth money, but I ended up just honestly giving them away for free. I did sell the red toolbox that was attached to the body of the truck in here that I removed. And yeah, there was just some stuff that I found new homes for. A couple of people took me up on my posting on YouTube and came by the storage unit and grabbed some stuff. So some stuff went away that way. A bunch of stuff went to the transfer station with me and Cora. I knew that this recycle bin was going to go back to Gina because she had already reached out to me. And so I was able to knock it all out by the end of Monday, which is not something I expected to be able to do. But because I did that, I'm sitting here right now exporting. I'm not even uploading yet. I'm sitting here exporting the video that I meant to post earlier today, which is part 1 of my installation video, and my installation is behind these walls right now. And I was like, you know what I want to start doing on Fridays is just do a vlog of my week, so that Fridays are the now, Sundays are the past, which is just the story of the build, and Wednesdays will stay a live stream. So that's my plan right now. Is Wednesdays are going to stay a live stream day. I'm going to, instead of doing a subject video, I'm going to be vlogging about where I am and what I've been doing for the week on Wednesdays, or sometimes maybe I'll just sit down and talk about it. And then, I'm sorry, on Fridays. I got my own schedule mixed up. I know where my next step is, but I don't have like this long-term roadmap plan. I'm kind of not operating that way. I wanted to get to this point so I didn't have to operate that way. So I can literally make a decision, you know, at the drop of a dime. I mean, to me, that's the point of this lifestyle, is to be able to make a decision at the drop of a dime, turn your vehicle around and head in that direction. Having like places you quote unquote want to visit, to me, is such a vacation mentality, and I don't want to have a vacation mentality. I want to have a this is my life mentality. So it's not about checking off boxes. It's not about, you know, checking off states that I visited, because when you visit a state, there's so much in it. Like, there's so much in California I have not seen. That is beautiful and wild country, and not these major cities. I do want to go to some places out of state as well, but I want the option to go anywhere just because I feel like it in the next moment. And so I've reached that point where I can kind of do that, and that feels good. It really does. And there's my little partner in crime up there on top of the cabinets. So I didn't quite vlog as much as I planned. Dropped a couple of special videos on Patreon, but didn't really remember to do a lot of checking in. When I wrap up things, I wrap them up fast. I had one goal: to not have to pay for my storage unit next month. And then I set an even more determined goal of not being in the storage unit for another week. That being said, it was a bittersweet goodbye when I went to the office. I had a good relationship with the people who owned the storage unit, and while they were happy to see me reach my goal, they were also sad to see me go, and I was sad, you know, just not to be around them, because I thought they were really cool people. Anyway, before I left, I did visit a truck wash, because car care is important. My first stop took me east, though. East within California, but east, to drop off the last few things at Gina's. Then from there, I headed south, free of everything that tied me to the bay. And then I was on the road with my truck for the first time. And I know everyone wondered what exotic locale they would find me in when I stopped. I did a lot of stopping along the way, by the way. It took me 3 days to get from Northern California to Southern California. It's a 6-hour drive, and after about an hour into an hour and a half, I'm just sick of driving. So I'll likely stop at a gas station, a truck stop, a rest area, and I might actually just hang out there for 3 to 4 hours. I mean, I'm home. I'm in no rush to get anywhere. So yeah, it took me pretty much 3 days to get where I was going. And it wasn't some exotic locale. I have stopped, and now we'll finally show you where I stopped and tell you why I'm stopping there. So I haven't flown my drone in a while, and I just want to grab some B-roll shots. So I'm about to take this outside and give it a little bit of a flight. And then you guys will see where I am. So, I know a lot of you are surprised to see the truck sitting at a mechanic shop. Let me say this up front. There's nothing actually wrong. Like, nothing's wrong with it. Nothing has gone wrong. I am here very intentionally. This is where I was headed. Before I go, like, beating around in the bush and going into off-roads and like going out to the middle of nowhere alone, I want to be sure that the truck is in the best condition it can be. And I've hit this problematic sort of situation with a truck my size. Now, compared to real big rigs, of which there are a lot on this particular street, my truck honestly isn't that big. I mean, it's a baby compared to those kind of vehicles, but compared to most vehicles that your standard homeowner would own, it's big. Now, the funny thing is, I literally drove past Class C's on the highway that were about as tall as me with their roof accoutrement, you know, air conditioners and stuff like that. And the bodies were definitely, if not as big as, bigger than I am. So size class wise for RVs, I'm not in a crazy class size. Like a Class A is easily 2-3 times my size. That being said, the problem is a lot of small shops can't take a vehicle my size. A lot of RV shops are weird if it's not an actual RV. And a lot of commercial mechanics are like, I could do it, but I'd have to charge you a lot. Like, I can't change my rate because you're an individual person and not a business owner. So those of you who have been around for my catalytic converter theft know that I got caught between a rock and a hard place on replacing the catalytic converter. On one hand, one of my subscribers, who this is her shop, or her family shop, sent me a catalytic. She asked for the specs on my engine. I sent her that. You know, she did her research. She sent me that catalytic. And then when I took it to a shop in my area, the guy was like, it's not the right catalytic. I don't want to install the wrong one. And it turned into a whole thing. Well, at the time, the smartest thing for me to do was just to buy his catalytic. And I returned the catalytic that had been sent to me. But what I had now established was a relationship with a shop. And I was trying, you know, I was playing the Find a Mechanic game up in Berkeley, you know, the Berkeley, Oakland, Alameda County area. And I'm like, I have a trustworthy person down in the LA County area. I am not in Los Angeles proper. I'm not near Hollywood. I am in Southern California. I'm a little bit further out. This is an industrial area. In fact, the scariest thing I did was the piece of highway that goes through LA proper, as I like to call it. You know, you're talking about your actual Los Angeles, your actual Burbank, your actual Hollywood, like that area. If I can stay away from it as much as possible, I'm totally cool with that. I white knuckled my way through the highway that's through there and made it to the other side, over here to Ralph's Muffler. I will probably be staying at Ralph's Muffler for a week and a half, 2 weeks. One of the things I want to do is finish up my remaining projects on the van. So I have like paint sitting in cans. I have little project things that I still need to do, things I've already talked about. I'm going to work on those concurrently. Hopefully what I hope to do is learn how to do my own oil changes and be able to do those things for myself in the future, as well as having connections to people I can trust who are actual mechanics that can look at the truck, check out the truck, and make sure that the truck is okay before I start banging around in the bush. And the most important thing to me is to try to get ahead of problems in any situation. Like, the best thing you can do is get ahead of a problem. Because the engine is turning over and doing great, I don't want to make any assumptions, and I would love somebody who actually knows what they're looking at to look at it with me, to teach me how to do my own oil changes, to check out some things going on in the cab as well. There's nothing critical in the cab. The cab is, you know, it's an old truck. The heat is fine. The AC is not blowing cold. It may just need to be recharged, but I am going to be able to get that checked out. The radio doesn't work and has never worked. I bought it with the radio not working. Now, one thing I did not know was not functional is the horn. I had no idea the horn didn't work until one day I went to pick up Ashley. I went to hit the horn so she knew that I was coming around the corner, and no horn. So one of the things I would like to see if anybody knows how to fix a horn. And my 12-volt sockets in the front, one of them, there's two of them, one of them did work, and the other one stopped working on the way down here. More than likely it's probably a fuse. I've dealt with fusing and electrics before, but it's just a mental thing. Whenever it's something is like, I can fool around with solar systems all day, you know, teaching myself stuff, you know, reading stuff and experimenting. But when it comes to things that are actually like under the hood and connected to the car, I still have this hesitation that I might do something that messes up the vehicle. And you can tell me that feeling is ridiculous all day, and I will still prefer to work one-on-one with someone who's like, I will walk you through this and show you how easy it is, and like physically being present and doing it on my own vehicle. Like, that'll teach me a lot more than, you know, somebody who's leaving knowledge gaps in their videos, and they may not be doing it on purpose. I remember a long time ago, and you guys who know cars can laugh at me. My car wouldn't start. It was a long time ago. Was not living in vehicles at the time, and my car wouldn't start. This was back in Maryland, and I did have AAA at the time, and I made a phone call about the car not starting and explained the problem, and they were like, it's probably your starter. And I was like, there's actually a part in a car called a starter? Like, what's a starter? Is that a thing? And I don't know. It sounded almost too simplistic to me that there was a part called a starter that was involved in starting the car, even though it does make sense. It's like, I want it to be more complicated than it is because I'm intimidated by it. And I feel like, you know, with solar, a lot of people feel that. That's why a lot of people will lean toward already built systems or getting somebody else to build their system, because it inherently feels like it should be more complicated than it is, and then you learn it and realize how uncomplicated it is. And I am not comfortable just with watching a video and trying to replicate it out in the middle of nowhere where I'm not sure if it'll work. I am entirely comfortable if I've done it with someone one-on-one who knows what they're doing, and then, you know, I go out in the middle of nowhere and I need to do it myself, having done it once with somebody who knew what they were doing, to be able to replicate the process and even troubleshoot in the future. So those are skills that I'm hoping to gain. And some of you may be disappointed because you really wanted me to be out there, you know, in the great unknown, or maybe you were hoping I'd head north, which I do plan to do eventually. I have some plans in the works of fun things that I want to do after this week and a half to 2 weeks to, one, finish up the projects that I didn't finish on the van but didn't require me to continue to keep a storage unit, which was costing me $224 a month. So one, that expense is gone. I can start to put that money other places where rather it's things I need to do to the truck or my savings account. And on top of that, I hope to gain some new skills related to the mechanics of my truck, especially because I have, yes, size-wise, there are small shops that are just like, I just can't handle it. And then also size-wise, there are commercial shops that say, if you come here, I have to charge you my rates, and they are much more than a regular consumer owning one vehicle should have to pay. And luckily, Ralph's Muffler is like, you're the perfect fit for us. So I want to thank Carolyn, first of all, for reaching out to me, for being sort of a person I could trust to connect me with mechanics I can trust, with people with the skill set I can trust, or whether it's people she knows or people she works with that handles that particular, you know, work, even if this shop does not. And so I have that resource here now, which is why I came here. It wasn't just to go south. It wasn't, you know, to vacation. It is nice to have a change of scenery because oh my goodness, I needed that. And all I've done the past couple of days is sleep at rest areas and truck stops and gas stations mostly. Like, I've not gone off onto some back roads or side roads at all. And I can still say I felt more like myself getting on the road and just knowing I could go than I have felt the past like month and a half. When I felt very, very trapped by my situation, which was I didn't have the ability to put everything that I still needed to do in a truck and transfer it to another location, even if I had the offer of space. One, because, you know, I created my situation based on the fact that I had a job in the Oakland, Berkeley, Alameda County area. And two, once I had that storage unit, I needed it for overflow, for storage of, you know, things that were arriving, for storage of pieces that were too large, too bulky, or too awkward to keep in the truck while I was living in it. You know, I just needed access to that storage unit, and it just didn't make sense to pack up a bunch of stuff and go really, really far away from it, risk leaving something behind or anything like that. And it feels really good to kind of be free of that. Anything I have left to do, even if I don't get it done in the next couple of weeks, things that I really, really want to do, which includes some painting projects, they aren't tying me to anywhere, and that's sort of the relief that I am feeling right now. And I'm really, really grateful for this opportunity to achieve some more mechanical comfort with my truck. Alright guys, there will be a build video on Sunday, I promise. Bye-bye. For anyone wondering, yes, I am allowed to just stay parked here for a bit, so there'll be no more running to a storage unit, having to pack everything up and run somewhere else. I can just kind of stay still. And that's what's so great about the situation. It's not a lot of running back and forth and, like, you know, trying to find somewhere to stay. I can stay here. I have power. I have pretty much everything I need to be okay for a while. So now it's time for the YouTube algorithm business. If you like this video, like it. If you think you'll like this channel, subscribe to it. And if you didn't feel either of those things, you know what? There's a lot of awesome content out there on YouTube, and I hope you find something that suits your taste. Until next time, have a great day, and special thanks to my supporters on YouTube memberships and Patreon. You guys are awesome.